Hi, today I'm going to teach you how to calculate your relationship sign astrologically, the way proper astrologers do it. And I want you to listen not to just one video, because it's not just one sign that describes your relationship. It's not that easy. Things are quite mixed always and quite complex, as you've noticed by real astrology I've been trying to teach you. It's never black and white. It's never, oh, your Aries and your partners will be always like Libras. But it's always, we look at relationship, first of all, from the ascendant sign. That's how we calculate relationship. From the seventh sign from the ascendant, or we call it the seventh house, describes your marriage partner. Most often how he'll be physically, how he'll be like persona-wise. But if you don't know your ascendant sign, you can find it by going to my website, AstroLada.com, following the link below. Or following the link below, and go to the ascendant sign calculator, enter the time of your birth correctly. Say if you're born 6:30 in the afternoon, enter it like 18:30, the European way. And once you have the ascendant sign, listen to the relationship description for the ascendant sign. Give the ascendant sign make it the first one you listen to, because it will be probably more than 40% true. You identify with more than 40% with it. And then find out your moon sign, because the moon has direct relevance to relationships as well, because the moon is the planet of emotions and feelings and vulnerability in our inner world and how we connect to others. Therefore, it's one of the most important planets for deciding relationships. And once you know the sign of your moon, then go and listen to the relationship description of your moon sign as well. It will probably give you 30% description of your partner will be like, or for some, even especially for females, because females identify with the moon much more than males, because the moon is a feminine planet and females are feminine creatures. A lot of the women can identify a lot with the description of the partnerships of the moon sign, actually, and again, the partnerships from the moon sign are again defined by counting 7 signs from the sign of the moon. So basically the opposite sign. It's always the opposite sign of the one that you have as the moon sign, as the ascendant sign, or sun sign. And also check the description of the partnership for your sun sign, especially males, because the sun is a masculine planet and males identify more with their rational, logical side, with their more, goal-oriented and active side, which is described by the moon. And a lot of women will also identify with it, because in those day and age, nowadays, women are much more in touch with their masculine side, with their active and goal-oriented, achieving side, rational side, And the sun sign is the one everyone knows. If you're born in April, you're probably Aries or Taurus. If you're born in September, you're probably Virgo or Libra. This is the one everyone knows. It will probably give you 25% the sign, the description of the partnerships that you're going to attract. But make sure you listen to the 3 of them to get the fuller picture. Some of you identify more with the ascendant sign partnership. Some of them will identify more with the sign opposite the moon. Some of you with the sign opposite the sun. But you will definitely feel the 3 sign partnerships as well. When you think about it, you will. But again, I keep saying, I think the ascendant is the most relevant one through watching through my practice in the long years. What happens if your ascendant sign, moon sign, or sun sign is in Capricorn? Well, then the sign that responds to your that will describe your relationships, or at least 30% of the type of partnership you'll be attracting, long-term partnerships, will be the sign opposite Capricorn. If Capricorn is here in the sky, Cancer is the sign exactly opposite it. And why is it opposite? Well, as you know, everyone knows that opposites attract. And this matters also in relationships, in astrology, in relationships. But also at the same time, you see these opposing poles, like for instance from the pen, they're opposite each other, very different, but at the same time they're part of the same structure. So there is an underlying similarity as well. So there is a 50% similarity and 50% completely opposing energies between these people. So just like opposite attract, also likes attracts likes. And that's why the opposing sign is the one that most often will describe the kind of partner you have. And when your partner is when you're Capricorn, ascendant, moon, and sun sign, you'll be attracting Cancer type of people. And it's not necessary that they're Cancers with their sun there, or they can have the moon there, they can have their ascendant in Cancer, they can have their Venus in Cancer, any of those planets or angles, astrological factors which are relationship bound. They can have a planet in Cancer, or even if they have no planets in Cancer, they can actually be quite they can behave like Cancers, because they probably have a very strong moon, because the moon rules Cancer, and if it's strong in their horoscope, they'll very much behave like Cancers. And what are Cancers like? Well, they will be caring, sweet, and sensitive people. They will be showing you their emotions and attentions much more than you're probably used to, because Capricorn has an inner reserve within themselves, because Saturn rules them. Saturn is the planet of reserve. Saturn is the planet of self-control. But the type of people will be attracting will be just the opposite. They'll be quite emotional, and they're there to teach you to be in touch with your emotions. They're there to teach you to express your emotions. That's why you attract such people, because they help us evolve. And I keep saying these are only long-term relationships. I'm not talking one-night stands or a few months flings. These are people that are there to stay. And very often you'll feel attracted to maternal type of people, because Cancer is a very maternal sign. Maybe if you're a male, you'd prefer women that are more motherly shape with bigger bosoms, because the bosoms is the sign of Cancer. It's ruled by Cancer because it's the maternal organ. This is the organ of nurturing. And or if you're a female, you'll be attracted by men, and you'll keep attracting men in your life who are more family oriented, who are more, and once they're there in your life, they might be hard for them to open initially, because Cancer is very protective of itself. It's, just like the Cancer has a protective shelf around it. So this kind of people you'd be attracting, they might be very protective of themselves, hard to open up at the beginning, but once they win your affections, and once you win their once you win their trust, they open up to you, and they're there to stay for the long run. Cancers people, the type you attract, these will not be marriages that you will not be having 5 marriages or constantly changing relationships. You'll be often attracting partners who are more family oriented, who are there for the long run. And Cancer is a very dependable sign, someone who gets very easily attached. Just like the Cancer, when it grabs with the claws, it doesn't want to let go. It's very hard to let go. You can break out the claw of the Cancer, but it's not gonna let go of whatever it's holding. The same way, Cancer partnership, you'll be attracting partners that will be quite dependable. They would want to hold on to you, So you can be quite, you're probably kind of one of the lucky signs if you have Capricorn energy in you, because you'll be prone to more getting people who are there for you, who are there for the long term, who doesn't want to let go of you. And if you're not someone who is so easily, who likes to go for the long run, for very committed relationships, you might be finding the partners you attract a bit too soppy, a bit too emotional, sentimental, people who can't let go easily of the past, So you might be feeling a very strong sense of duty and guilt sometimes towards your partners. And because also Cancer type of partners, they can be, I keep saying, even if they're not Cancers themselves, but you'll be attracting such kind of people that behave like that, they can be emotionally manipulative, because Cancer never attacks directly, it will do it through manipulation somehow, through if you ask them, how are you, darling, they'll be like moody, not telling you, it's sometimes it's hard to understand them. They will not open up directly to you. You have to be able to really predispose them. And that's why, because these people you'll be attracting will be so emotional, so full of emotional undercurrents, and you as a Capricorn are not so used to that, but they will bring it up into your life, so you'll become more aware of your feelings. You'll get more in touch with your feelings. They'll bring to the surface, on a daily agenda emotional issues, and like this you will also develop this emotional side that is quite lacking in Capricorn sometimes, especially if you have say your ascendant and your moon sign there, or your sun, if you have more than one planet or more than one important factor in Capricorn, you feel it very strongly, and you'll keep attracting those kind of emotional, family-oriented, sensitive people who sometimes can be emotionally manipulative. They'll be very shrewd as well. You know, the type of people you'll be attracting, they can be really great businessmen, because Cancer, it needs security, just like Capricorn needs security. That's where the similarity comes between your two signs. I was talking about that, how they're completely different to some extent. Just like Cancer is very emotional, Capricorn is much more controlled, is much more career oriented, is much more achievement oriented, while Capricorn is much more centered on the inner, Cancer is much more centered on the inner world, and the type of people you'll be attracting, they'll be much more centered on family, on inner happiness, on emotional happiness, you know. But the similarity that I said is that both you are focused on security. You need security, you need stability, both signs, and you'll be family people. You'll be people who rarely divorce, you know. Especially if your ascendant is in Capricorn, then it's rare that such people divorce. You know, maybe they have 1 or 2 marriages only, or long-term relationships, you know. And again, you know, the type of Cancer people you attracted, they'll have hearts of gold, you know. They will be caring and nurturing and motherly and family-oriented and sympathetic, you know. And as I said, they will be not so very direct emotionally, so you have to, that they might be hiding feelings. So but this way they'll teach you to express your own emotional side. And also they will teach you that because you as Capricorns, you think that your happiness depends on outside circumstances like reputation, achievements in the world, and a lot of your happiness is centered there. And it's not really. Cancer type of partners and the partners you'll be attracting, they will teach you that real happiness is actually centered in the inner world. It doesn't depend on our outside circumstances, whether we have big titles, how we're respected in the society, what others think of us. No, it matters. Inner happiness comes from within, when you're at peace with your own emotions, when you're at peace with your own family, with your own inner world. You know, and this is what they will teach you. Open up to them, you know, try and learn the lessons from them. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this. And give me feedbacks. What do you think about that?